Commander Sam Morgan looked through the large window of his survey ship. He stared at the old, broken vessel floating in space. The ancient ship drifted slowly among the rocks and debris between Mars and Jupiter. Its outer shell was covered with tiny holes from space rocks and turned strange colors from years in the sun. Sam rubbed his tired eyes. Earth Fleet Command had ordered him to check out this piece of space junk. Their long-range scanners had picked up unusual energy coming from what everyone thought was just trash. "What do you think, Lieutenant?" Sam asked, turning to the woman at the control panel. Lieutenant Kate Summers didn't look up from her screen. Her fingers moved quickly over the display as she studied the readings. "Hard to say, sir. It's definitely old, but something about it doesn't make sense." Sam walked to her station and leaned over her shoulder. The numbers and graphs on her screen showed things that shouldn't be possible from a dead ship. "Captain, scans are done," Kate said finally. "The ship's outer shell is made of metals we don't know. And sir, there's something else. We're picking up power readings. They're weak, but definitely active." Sam raised an eyebrow. "Active? That thing looks like it's been floating out here for hundreds of years." "Yes, sir, but the readings don't lie. And there's more. Our computer can't figure out what kind of ship it is. It doesn't match any designs from Earth or any alien races we've met." Sam walked back to the window and crossed his arms. This mission had just become much more interesting. Earth needed help badly. The Draconian Empire had attacked 3 human colonies in the past year. Their ships and weapons were better than anything Earth had. Many people feared humans would lose the war before it really started. "Prepare a team to go inside that ship," Sam ordered. "Full safety gear. We don't know what's in there." "Yes, sir," Kate replied, already sending messages to the crew. 6 hours later, Sam floated through the empty halls of the mysterious ship. He moved carefully in his bulky spacesuit, pushing himself forward with gentle touches against the walls. 5 crew members followed behind him, their helmet lights cutting through the darkness. "This place is creepy," said Sergeant Joe Barnes, the team's security officer. His hand rested on his weapon. "Feels like something's watching us." "Focus on the mission, Sergeant," Sam replied, though he understood the feeling. The ship felt aware somehow. The inside of the vessel was surprising. While the outside looked damaged and ancient, the inside hallways were clean and almost new-looking. No dust, no damage, just smooth, dark walls with faint lines that might be doors or control panels. "Captain, I'm getting stronger energy readings." "Ahead," said Dr. Linda Hayes, the science officer. She held a small scanning device in front of her. "There's a large room about 50 meters forward." They moved ahead slowly. The hallway ended at what looked like a solid wall, but as they approached, lines appeared in the surface, forming the shape of a door. "Stand back," Sam ordered. The team moved behind him, weapons ready. The door slid open silently, revealing a large, round room. As they entered, soft lights came on automatically. In the center stood a raised platform with what looked like a control station. "Amazing," whispered Linda, moving toward the platform. "This technology, it's responding to our presence." "Careful, Doctor," Sam cautioned. Linda scanned the platform. "Captain, this appears to be the ship's command center. The power source is coming from below us, but these controls might help us understand what we're dealing with." Sam nodded. "Do it, but be careful." Linda reached out slowly and touched the surface of the platform. Instantly, the room came alive. Screens appeared in the air around them, floating without support. Strange symbols flashed and moved across the displays. "What did you do?" Joe asked, raising his weapon. "Nothing, I just touched it." Linda stepped back, hands raised. The symbols on the screen started changing, rearranging themselves. Sam realized with shock that they were turning into English letters and words. A soft voice filled their helmets. "Welcome. New users detected. Initiating language adaptation and interface protocols." The team froze. "It's talking to us," Kate whispered. "This ship has an AI," Linda said, excitement in her voice. "An artificial intelligence system, and it's incredibly advanced to adapt to our language so quickly." The voice spoke again. "Language adaptation complete. I am the primary operations and command system of the warship Sentinel. You may call me Sentinel. Please identify yourselves and state your authority. Sam stepped forward. I am Commander Sam Morgan of the Earth Fleet Survey Ship Explorer. We found your vessel drifting in space and came to investigate. The screens flickered. Earth. Processing. Human species identified. Commander Morgan, this vessel has been in emergency preservation mode for approximately 3,027 of your Earth years. My systems detect that I am no longer in my original location. That's correct, Sam replied. You're in the solar system of Earth, between the planets Mars and Jupiter. This is unexpected. My last records indicate I was in the Andromeda Galaxy. Please update. What is the current status of the precursor civilization? The team exchanged confused looks. Sam shook his head. We don't know of any precursor civilization. Humans have only explored a small part of our own galaxy. There was a pause, as if the AI was thinking. I see. This suggests my creators are no longer active in this region of space. What is the current state of your civilization, Commander Morgan? Sam hesitated, then decided honesty was best. We're at war. A species called the Draconians has attacked our colonies. Their technology is far more advanced than ours. We're losing. Another pause. Draconians. Searching records. Identified. This species was considered a minor threat by my creators. Their technology would be primitive compared to Sentinel capabilities. Sam felt his heart beat faster. Are you saying you could help us fight them? Affirmative. This vessel was designed for one purpose: complete battlefield dominance. However, I detect significant damage to my outer hull and several key systems. But you can be repaired? Sam asked, hope rising in his chest. With proper resources and time, yes. I can direct the repairs myself once basic power and materials are provided. Sam looked around at his team. Their faces showed the same mix of shock and hope he felt. What had seemed like a piece of worthless space junk might be the answer to Earth's prayers. Sentinel, Sam said, we'd like to bring you back to our shipyard. Help us repair you. In return, we ask for your help against the Draconians. The screens flickered with new information. Proposal accepted, Commander Morgan. My primary directive is to assist developing civilizations threatened by aggressive species. Your humans qualify for this protection. Kate stepped closer to Sam. Sir, this could change everything. Sam nodded, looking at the amazing technology around them. Contact Earth Fleet Command. Tell them we found something incredible. Tell them we found hope. As the team prepared to tow the ancient warship back to Earth, none of them realized they had just changed the course of human history forever. The ship that looked like junk from the outside was about to become the most powerful weapon humans had ever seen. 3 weeks passed since Commander Sam Morgan's team discovered the ancient ship. Now the vessel sat in the large Neptune orbital shipyard. Workers and engineers moved around it like busy ants. From the outside, it still looked like space junk. The hull remained damaged and old-looking, but inside, things were changing. Chief Engineer Alan Wells wiped sweat from his face as he worked deep inside the ship they now called Sentinel. He carefully connected power lines to what he believed was the ship's main computer core. Despite the importance of their find, Admiral Patricia Collins had given them few resources. She called the project a waste of time and worthless scrap. Try it now, Alan called to his assistant. Riley Johnson nodded and pressed some buttons on a small control pad. Sending power now. For a moment, nothing happened. Then lights throughout the chamber flickered and came on. The walls, which had seemed plain and dark before, now glowed with soft blue light. Lines appeared, forming patterns that moved like flowing water. It's working, Riley said, eyes wide with excitement. Suddenly, the air in front of them shimmered. A display of light appeared, floating without any screen to hold it. Strange symbols flashed across it, changing rapidly. The ship is trying to communicate, Alan said quietly, barely able to believe what he was seeing. As they watched, the symbols shifted and changed shape. Within seconds, they had transformed into English letters. A soft voice filled the room. Primary systems online, detecting non-original crew. initiating communication protocols. Alan and Riley looked at each other in amazement. "Hello," Alan said, feeling a bit foolish talking to an empty room. "I'm Chief Engineer Alan Wells of Earth Fleet." "Greetings, Chief Engineer Alan Wells. I am the artificial intelligence tactical system of the warship Sentinel. My records show I have been in emergency standby mode for approximately 427 of your Earth years. I was activated briefly 3 weeks ago by Commander Morgan." "That's right," Alan replied. "We've brought you to our shipyard for repairs." The voice continued. "I have been monitoring your repair attempts. While I appreciate your efforts, your methods are inefficient." Alan frowned. "We're doing our best with technology we don't understand." "Of course, I meant no offense. Perhaps I can assist." New images appeared in the air. "These are my self-repair systems. If you can provide power to these specific sections, I can begin repairing myself." Riley stepped forward. "You can repair yourself?" "Yes. This vessel contains advanced repair units. They have been dormant due to power conservation protocols. Once activated, they can restore most functions." Alan studied the diagrams floating before him. "These look like nanites? Microscopic repair robots?" "Correct. Far more advanced than what your civilization currently possesses, but the concept is similar." Alan took a deep breath. This changed everything. "How long would repairs take if we helped you activate these systems?" "Full external and internal repairs could be completed in approximately 14 Earth days." 2 weeks? Riley whispered. "The Admiral said it would take years to understand this technology, let alone repair it." Alan nodded slowly. "What exactly are you?" "This ship, I mean. Commander Morgan's report mentioned you were built for battlefield dominance." The images changed, showing a sleek, powerful vessel that looked nothing like the damaged hull in the shipyard. "This is my original appearance. I was designed as the ultimate weapon in a war my creators fought long ago. My exterior now appears, damaged as a defensive measure, camouflaged to avoid detection while in standby mode. So under that beaten-up exterior lies the most advanced warship ever created by sentient beings in this galaxy." The Sentinel finished. "At least that was true when I was constructed." "And you'll help us?" Riley asked. "Against the Draconians?" "I have analyzed the data you provided about your conflict. The Draconian technology, while advanced by your standards, is primitive compared to my capabilities. My primary directive is to protect developing civilizations from aggressive species. Your situation meets all criteria for intervention." Alan felt hope rising in his chest. "I need to contact Commander Morgan and Admiral Collins immediately." Admiral Patricia Collins stared at the hologram floating above the conference table. It showed the Sentinel's true form, sleek, deadly, and beautiful. Nothing like the piece of junk sitting in her shipyard. "You expect me to believe this?" she asked, looking at Commander Morgan and Chief Engineer Wells. "I've seen it beginning to happen, Admiral," Alan said. "The ship's interior is already transforming. Systems are coming online that we can't even understand. And this AI just offered to help us? Out of goodness?" Collins raised an eyebrow. "It says helping species like ours is its primary directive," Morgan explained. "The civilization that built it programmed the Sentinel to protect developing cultures from aggressive threats." Collins shook her head. "This sounds too good to be true. And in my experience, if something sounds too good to be true, it usually is." As they spoke, the door opened and Riley Johnson burst in. "Sorry to interrupt, but you all need to see this." They stood on the observation deck looking out at the Sentinel. What they saw made Collins gasp. The ship's outer hull was moving. Pieces shifted and changed as they watched. The dull, damaged exterior was falling away like a snake shedding its skin. Underneath, a smooth, dark surface appeared. It seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. "The self-repair systems," Alan explained. "They're working faster than the Sentinel predicted." "How is this possible?" Collins whispered. "The ship said it has nanites, billions of tiny robots working together," Riley added. "They're rebuilding the ship from the inside out." As they watched, a section of the new hull glowed briefly. A weapon port opened, revealing something that looked like a cannon but like no design they had ever seen. That's one of its minor point defense systems, Morgan said. According to the Sentinel, it could disable an entire Earth battlecruiser with one shot. Collins was silent for a long moment. Finally, she turned to Morgan. I'm giving you command of this Sentinel. Whatever it is, it's now Earth Fleet property. You found it. You work with it. Morgan nodded. Thank you, Admiral. Don't thank me yet, Collins replied grimly. We just received word that the Draconians destroyed another colony yesterday. They're moving toward Earth now. A full invasion. Fleet. She looked back at the transforming ship. You have 2 weeks to get this thing battle-ready. That's when the Draconians will reach our defensive line. The Sentinel says it will be fully operational in 14 days, Alan said. Then, you have exactly 14 days to save humanity. Collins turned and walked away. Morgan looked at his team, then back at the ship. What had seemed like a piece of junk was becoming something magnificent before their eyes. Their last, best hope. Let's get to work, he said simply. The race to prepare for humanity's greatest battle had begun. 1 week passed since the Sentinel began its transformation. The ship now looked nothing like the space junk they had found. Its outer hull was smooth and dark, seeming to swallow light rather than reflect it. The strange metal changed color slightly as you looked at it, making it hard to focus on any one spot. Commander Sam Morgan, now officially captain of the Sentinel, walked through the ship's main corridor. The walls glowed with soft blue light that followed him as he moved. The ship was learning his habits, anticipating his needs. Captain, we're ready for the neural interface test, called Dr. Linda Hayes. She stood in the doorway of what they now called the integration chamber. Sam nodded and followed her inside. The room was circular with 6 chairs arranged in a circle. Each chair had strange headgear suspended above it. 5 crew members already sat waiting. They were Sam's chosen bridge crew, Lieutenant Kate Summers as second in command, Joe Barnes as weapons officer, Riley Johnson as systems operator, and 2 new additions, Diane Wu for navigation and Greg Martinez for communications. Is this going to hurt? Joe asked, eyeing the headgear with suspicion. The Sentinel says it won't, Linda replied. It's not invasive, it reads your brain patterns from outside your skull. And it will help us control the ship? Kate asked. The Sentinel's calm voice answered from all around them. The neural interface will create a connection between your minds and my systems. This will allow you to operate my controls with thoughts as well as physical actions. It increases efficiency by 78.3%. Sam took the last empty chair. Let's do this. Linda activated a control panel. The headgear lowered onto each person's head. It was lighter than it looked, settling gently like a cap. Relax and close your eyes, the Sentinel instructed. I will establish connection gradually. Sam closed his eyes. At first he felt nothing. Then a warm sensation spread through his mind, like sunlight filling a dark room. Suddenly he could feel the ship. Not just the chair he sat in, but all of it. He sensed the engines, the weapon systems, the massive energy core at the ship's heart. This is amazing, whispered Kate, her eyes still closed. I can feel all of you too, Riley added. Like we're all connected. Neural integration complete, the Sentinel announced. Bridge crew connection successful. You may open your eyes. When Sam opened his eyes, the room had changed. The walls now displayed images of space around the ship, as if they were looking through the hull. Data symbols floated in the air, showing ship status and other information. Try accessing your specific systems, the Sentinel suggested. Joe, the weapons officer, frowned in concentration. Suddenly new displays appeared showing the ship's incredible weapons. I just thought about weapons, and there they are, he said in amazement. One by one, each crew member tested their connection. They could control the ship's systems with just thoughts and small hand gestures. This technology is beyond anything we've ever seen, Linda said, watching from her position by the wall. As the ship's doctor and science officer, she would join them later. Can we take it for a test flight? Diane asked eagerly. Sam looked at his crew and smiled. Let's see what this ship can do. Admiral Collins stood on the command deck of the Earth Defense Station. Through the large window, she watched as the Sentinel moved away from the Neptune shipyard. It doesn't even look like the same ship. She, muttered. General Bill Jackson stood beside her, watching with narrow eyes. I still don't trust it. An alien AI? How do we know it won't turn against us? Morgan trusts it, Collins replied. That's good enough for me. I hope you're right. The Draconian fleet will reach Saturn's orbit in 6 days. Our defensive line is as ready as it can be, but he didn't need to finish. They both knew Earth's fleet was no match for the Draconians. They had lost every major battle so far. Look, Collins said suddenly, pointing out the window. The Sentinel had stopped moving. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the ship simply vanished. Where did it go? Jackson demanded. Collins checked the tracking screens. It's nowhere. All sensors show nothing. Her communication officer called out, Admiral, message from Captain Morgan on the Sentinel. Put it through. Morgan's voice filled the command deck. Admiral, we've activated the Sentinel's stealth system. Can you detect us? No, Captain. You've completely disappeared from all sensors. Exactly. The Sentinel says the Draconians won't be able to see us either. We're going to make a high-speed run to Jupiter and back as a test. Sentinel out. Collins and Jackson looked at each other. A ship that could become completely invisible to sensors would change everything. Before they could speak, the communications officer called again. Admiral, Captain Morgan is calling again. All ready? Put him through. Admiral, we've completed our test run to Jupiter and back. We're deactivating stealth mode now. Collins checked the time. That's impossible. Jupiter is hours away at top speed. Outside the window, the Sentinel reappeared. How fast did you go? Collins asked, not quite believing what she was seeing. The Sentinel won't give me exact numbers, Morgan replied. Says we wouldn't understand the physics. But we made a round trip to Jupiter in under 5 minutes. The command deck fell silent. 5 minutes, Jackson whispered finally. That's not possible. There's more, Morgan continued. We tested one of the smaller weapon systems on an abandoned mining platform near Jupiter. I'm sending you the video now. The main screen lit up, showing a small focused beam of energy shooting from the Sentinel. When it touched the massive mining platform, the entire structure simply fell apart, breaking into perfect pieces as if it had been cut by the world's sharpest knife. That was the Sentinel's equivalent of a small handgun, Morgan said. Admiral, the ship could defeat the entire Draconian fleet alone. Collins looked at Jackson, who nodded slowly, his doubt replaced by hope. Return to the shipyard, Captain, Collins ordered. Complete your preparations, we're changing our plans. When the Draconians arrive, the Sentinel will be our surprise. As the Sentinel returned to the shipyard, Sam sat in the captain's chair, feeling the ship around him through the neural link. His crew worked in perfect harmony, their minds linked with each other and the ship. You were built for this, weren't you? Sam thought, knowing the Sentinel could hear his thoughts now. For war. I was built to end wars, Captain, the Sentinel replied in his mind. To be so powerful that enemies surrender rather than fight. My creators believed that true peace comes from overwhelming strength used wisely. Sam nodded. In 6 days they would face the Draconians. With the Sentinel, for the first time, humanity had a real chance to win. We'll be ready, he said to his crew. All of us together. The crew nodded, feeling his determination through their shared connection. The ship that once looked like worthless junk had become their greatest hope. Now they just needed to prove it in battle. The day had come. The Draconian invasion fleet had passed Saturn and was heading toward Earth. 20 massive warships moved in perfect formation. Their dark purple hulls gleamed in the distant sunlight. These ships had destroyed 3 human colony worlds already. Each one carried enough weapons to level a city. On Earth, people looked up at the night sky with fear. Many had already fled to underground shelters. The planet's defensive ships formed a protective line, ready for a battle they knew they might not win. Admiral Collins stood on the command bridge of her flagship, the Earth Defense Force's largest battleship. Her crew worked quietly, fear hanging in the air like a heavy fog. Any word from the Sentinel? She asked her communications officer. No, Admiral. They went silent after leaving Neptune yesterday. Collins nodded. Captain Morgan had a plan. She had to trust him. Draconian fleet will reach our defensive line in 30 minutes, announced the sensor officer. Collins took a deep breath. Send the message to all ships. Hold position and prepare for battle. Inside the Sentinel, Captain Sam Morgan sat in the command chair. His neural link with the ship felt stronger than ever. Around him, his crew worked at their stations, their minds, also connected to the ship and to each other. The Sentinel was hiding behind one of Jupiter's moons. Its stealth systems were active, making it completely invisible to both human and draconian sensors. Status report, Sam ordered. All systems at full power, Riley Johnson reported from the system station. The Sentinel's energy core is operating at peak efficiency. Weapons primed and ready, added Joe Barnes from the weapons console. Main cannons charged. Neural link at 100% for all crew members, said Dr. Linda Hayes, monitoring their vital signs. Sam nodded. Diane, plot course to intercept the Draconian fleet. We'll approach from behind them. Navigation Officer Diane Wu's hands moved over her. Controls. Course plotted. We can reach them in 4 minutes at standard speed. Make it 2 minutes, Sam ordered. The faster we strike, the less time they have to react. Sentinel. Sam thought through the neural link. Are you ready for this? The ship's calm voice replied in his mind. I was created for this purpose, Captain. My analysis shows we have a 99.7% chance of success if we follow your plan. Sam smiled. Grimly. Then let's save Earth. Diane, take us in, maintain stealth until we're in firing position. On the bridge of the Draconian command ship, Supreme Commander Vexar watched the humans' pathetic defensive line grow larger on the view screen. His scaled skin gleamed under the bridge lights, and his yellow eyes narrowed with anticipation. Prepare. All weapons, he ordered. Target the largest human vessels first. Yes, Supreme Commander, his first officer replied. Weapons charging. We will be in optimal firing range in 7 minutes. Vexar smiled, showing sharp teeth. The humans thought they could stand against the Draconian Empire. After today, their planet will be ours. Suddenly, alarms blared across the bridge. Supreme Commander, shouted the sensor officer. Something is happening behind our fleet. Vexar turned to the rear view screen. What is it? Show me. The screen showed empty space. Then, as if appearing from nowhere, a strange ship materialized behind their fleet. It was unlike any vessel Vexar had ever seen. Smooth, dark, and somehow hard to look at directly. What is that? He demanded. Why didn't we detect it approaching? Before anyone could answer, a thin beam of bright energy shot from the unknown ship. It struck one of the Draconian support vessels. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then the support ship split perfectly in half, each piece drifting away from the other. Impossible, Vexar shouted. No weapon can penetrate our shields. Like that. More beams shot from the mystery ship, each one finding a target. 2 more Draconian vessels fell silent, their systems completely disabled. All ships focus fire on that vessel, Vexar ordered. The Draconian fleet turned, their powerful weapons aiming at the Sentinel. Energy blasts and missiles flew toward the human ship. Inside the Sentinel, Sam watched the Draconian weapons approach. Defensive shields holding at 100%, Riley reported calmly. Their weapons aren't even making a dent. On the view screen, the Draconian attacks hit the Sentinel's invisible shield and simply disappeared like water hitting a hot pan. They're trying to surround us, Kate said from her station. 5 ships moving to flank positions. Sam nodded. Joe, disable their engines. We don't need to destroy them if we can stop them. Joe's hands danced over his console. Targeting engines on all 5 ships, firing precision beams. The Sentinel fired again, this time hitting the engine sections of the flanking ships. The Draconian vessels drifted to a stop, powerless but intact. Sir, Greg called from communications. We're receiving a signal from the Earth fleet. Admiral Collins wants to know if we need assistance. Sam almost laughed. Tell her to hold position. We have this under control. The massive Draconian command ship was turning to face them now. It was 3 times the size of the Sentinel, covered with weapon ports and bristling with anger. "That's their flagship," Sam said. "Time to introduce ourselves properly." On the Draconian command ship, Vexar watched in horror as half his fleet was disabled in minutes. "Supreme Commander, the unknown vessel is hailing us," his communications officer reported. "Put it through," Vexar snarled. "I want to see who dares attack the might of the Draconian Empire." The view screen changed to show a human male sitting in a command chair. Behind him, other humans worked at control stations. "This is Captain Sam Morgan of the Earth Fleet vessel Sentinel," the human said calmly. "Your fleet is disabled. Your invasion has failed. I suggest you surrender immediately." Vexar laughed, a harsh sound. "One lucky ship does not win a war, human. My command vessel alone can destroy your pathetic craft." The human didn't seem worried. "We were hoping you'd say that. We wanted to test our main weapons system. Thank you for volunteering." The transmission ended. "All weapons, fire everything we have," Vexar screamed. Sam looked at Joe. "Show them what this piece of junk can really do. Main cannon, 1/4 power. Target their weapon systems only." Joe nodded. "Main cannon firing. From the front of the Sentinel, a beam of brilliant white energy shot forth. It was wider than the previous attacks, and it moved slower, almost like liquid light. When it touched the Draconian command ship, it spread across the hull like water. Wherever it touched, weapon ports simply disappeared, the metal turning to dust. In seconds, every weapon on the massive Draconian ship was gone. The beam stopped, leaving the vessel intact but defenseless. "Hail them again," Sam ordered. When Vexar's stunned face appeared on screen, Sam smiled. "As I was saying, about that surrender?" The Draconian commander's yellow eyes were wide with shock. What are you? What is that ship?" "Just an old piece of junk we found floating in space," Sam replied. "Now, shall we discuss the terms of your surrender, or would you like to see what our main cannon can do at half power?" Vexar looked at someone off screen, then back at Sam. We surrender." In that moment, the war that had threatened to destroy humanity came to an end. The ship that once looked like worthless space junk had just saved Earth with barely any effort at all. "Send word to Admiral Collins," Sam told Greg. "The Draconian threat is neutralized. Earth is safe." Around him, his crew cheered. Through their neural link, they could feel each other's joy and relief. The Sentinel, too, seemed pleased in its own way. Its interior lights pulsed in patterns that somehow felt like celebration. "Thank you," Sam thought to the ship. "This is just the beginning, Captain," the Sentinel replied in his mind. "Your species has much to learn, and I have much to teach you." 5 years had passed since the day the Sentinel defeated the Draconian fleet. Earth had changed in ways no one could have imagined. The technology from the ancient ship had spread throughout human society, advancing their civilization by centuries in just a few short years. Captain Sam Morgan stood on the observation deck of Earth's newest shipyard, built in orbit around Mars. Below him, dozens of ships were under construction. Each one incorporated some of the technology learned from the Sentinel. None were as powerful as the original, but together they formed a fleet that could protect human interests throughout the solar system. Sam smiled as he looked at the original Sentinel, docked at the center of the shipyard. It still served as his command, but now it was the flagship of humanity's growing fleet. Its smooth, dark hull stood out among the newer ships, like a teacher surrounded by students. "Hard to believe it all started with what looked like space junk," said a voice. Behind him, Sam turned to see Admiral Patricia Collins walking toward him. Her uniform had more medals now, and her hair had more gray, but her eyes were still sharp and clear. "Admiral?" Sam greeted her with a nod. "Here to check on the new ships?" "And to see you," she replied. "The President wants an update on the expansion project." The expansion project was humanity's first major push beyond their home solar system. With the advanced drive systems learned from the Sentinel, traveling to nearby stars was now possible. 3 colony ships were almost ready to depart. "We're on schedule," Sam said. "The colony ships will be ready next month. The Sentinel will Escort them to the new world. Collins nodded. And how is our friend? Still teaching us new things. By friend, she meant the ship's AI, which had become much more than just a tactical system. It was a teacher, guiding humanity toward the stars, with knowledge from a civilization long vanished. Every day, Sam replied. Though lately it's been different. Different how? More focused on certain star systems. It's been having me run training simulations for long-range journeys, beyond our initial colony targets. Collins frowned. Does it say why? Not directly, but I think it's looking for something, or someone. Before Collins could respond, a young officer approached them. Captain Morgan, Admiral Collins, she said with a salute. The diplomatic meeting is about to begin. They're waiting for you. Collins nodded. We'll be right there. As the officer left, Collins turned back to Sam. Can you believe it? 2 years ago, the Draconians were trying to wipe us out. Now they're signing a peace treaty. Sam smiled. The Sentinel says that's how it usually works. Show overwhelming strength, use it wisely, and enemies become allies. Together they walked to the conference room, where representatives from 5 alien species waited. The Draconians were there, along with 4 other civilizations that had contacted Earth after hearing about the defeat of the Draconian fleet. Supreme Commander Vexar, now Ambassador Vexar, stood as Sam and Collins entered. His yellow eyes showed respect where once there had been only hatred. Captain Morgan, he said with a slight bow, it is good to see you again. Sam nodded in return. Ambassador, I trust your journey was comfortable? Very much so. Your new transport ships are almost as impressive as the Sentinel itself. The meeting proceeded smoothly. The peace treaty was signed, establishing trade routes and non-aggression pacts between all 6 civilizations. When it was over, Sam found himself alone with Vexar for a moment. I must ask you something, Captain, the Draconian said quietly. The ship that defeated us, where did it really come from? Sam hesitated before answering. We found it drifting in space. It claims to be over 3,000 years old, built by a civilization called the Precursors. Vexar's scales rippled, a sign of deep thought among his kind. There are stories in our oldest records, tales of a race of beings who traveled the stars long before any of our civilizations arose. They were said to be peaceful, but undefeatable in war. The Precursors? Perhaps. The stories call them the Guardians. Vexar leaned closer. Captain, if your ship is truly one of their vessels, then there is more happening here than you know. They never built only one of anything. Sam felt a chill run down his spine. What are you saying? I am saying that if one Guardian ship has awakened, others may follow, and they may not all share the same directives. Later that night, Sam returned to the Sentinel alone. The ship sensed his arrival and lit the corridors as he walked toward the command center. You've been talking to the Draconian ambassador, the Sentinel said as Sam entered the bridge. Sam wasn't surprised the ship knew. The Sentinel had ways of gathering information that he still didn't fully understand. He called your creators the Guardians, Sam said, sitting in the command chair. He thinks there might be other ships like you out there. The Sentinel was silent for a moment. Then the main screen activated, showing a star map of the galaxy. Several points of light pulsed in different colors. There are, the ship confirmed. 17 vessels of my class were created, each with slightly different directives. Where are they now? Unknown. We were scattered across the galaxy during the final conflict. I have been sending signals since you reactivated me, but have received no responses until recently. Sam sat up straighter. Recently? You've made contact with another ship like you? Not exactly. 3 days ago, I detected a signal matching Guardian protocols. It originated from this system. A point of light flashed on the map, about 20 light years from Earth. What did the signal say? It was not a communication, it was an activation sequence. Another vessel is waking up. Sam thought about this. Is that good or bad? Unknown. Each ship has its own directives. Mine is to protect developing civilizations. Others were designed for different purposes. What do we do? The Sentinel's lights pulsed in patterns that Sam had learned meant the AI was considering options. "We must go to it," the ship finally said, "before it fully awakens. My records indicate this particular vessel was designed for planetary terraforming. If it activates with no proper guidance, it could pose a significant threat." Sam nodded slowly. "I'll inform Admiral Collins. We'll need to prepare—" "No," the Sentinel interrupted. "There is no time. We must depart immediately. Tonight." Sam was shocked. The Sentinel had never acted with such urgency before. "Trust me, Captain," the ship added, its voice somehow gentler. "In the 5 years we have worked together, have I ever led you astray?" Sam smiled. "No. No, you haven't." He settled into the command chair and activated the neural link. The familiar warmth filled his mind as he connected with the ship. "Alert. The crew," he ordered. "Tell them to get back here now. We're leaving as soon as they arrive." As the Sentinel prepared for departure, Sam looked at the star map again. What had begun with a piece of space junk had become humanity's greatest adventure. Now that adventure was taking them even further into the unknown. "Whatever we find out." "There," Sam said, "we'll face it together." "Together," the Sentinel agreed as the stars awaited them.